Hey, welcome back everybody to Playoffs Round 1 of the DDL. It's yours truly, Wicket, coach of the Golden State Warriors, and this week I'm playing against Jester, head coach of the Cumbrian Cramorants, I'm pretty sure. We're in playoffs, we made it. The context here is, I think I was top of my pool. Jester was top of his pool, but because his differential was better, he got to pick his round 1 opponent. Because we did seeding order picks. And he chose his round 1. Instead of somebody with worse differentials, somebody lower, he chose me. He chose number 2 in the picking order. So that just meant the pick went to the next person. But that meant I'd been challenged. The number 1 person in the entire league challenged me round 1 in playoffs. So a little surprising, very surprising actually, considering, you know, you'd probably want to pick a easier opponent, and typically easier opponents would have worse differential and whatnot, but I suppose Jester saw something in the matchup that he liked. So, and to be fair, out of all the people who made playoffs, my team is like not that insanely painful. It's pretty good, but it's not like annoying to prep for. I don't have a double regenerator core. I don't have like sand as a strong gimmick. I don't have like absurd speed tiers or something. I just have like a pretty well-rounded team. So although it's good, I can understand wanting to pick it for ease of prep kind of reasons. But here we are. We'll see how it went. But let me show you the matchup. Here we are. So Annihilate, Greninja, Terra, Regigigas, Zapdos, Blissey, Whimsicott, Donphan, Terra Bronzong, Mega Garchomp, Nihilego, Terra Runerigus, and Ariados. Versus my team, which I know it's been a while since I last recorded, but hopefully you guys know it's on the screen. But some notes to make note of here. Speed tier wise, Greninja is very annoying. Obviously low putting out speeds, but if it ever gets a Battle Bond boost or is scarfed, or you know, is in front of anything else on my team, has a pretty good time. My only water resists are Garchomp, Primarina, and Ogerpon. Garchomp gets bonked by Ice Beam and outsped. Primarina and Ogerpon. Ogerpon also gets outsped and Ice Beamed, and Prim can might have to potentially hold a Gunk Shot if it goes mixed. Terra Water Diancie is pretty decent actually, because I don't think Grass Knot does that much damage. But that Greninja can be a very big nuisance into me. Takes a lot. Yeah, no, it is just pretty problematic for me. Annihilate, it's just a good mon. It's very flexible. It can come scarfed. It can come. Actually, one sec. Did I? Where's my camera? Huh? Properties. USB camera. Activate. Where is it? Yeah. Where's my camera? Alright, no camera I guess. That's unfortunate. Well, either way. Annihilate hits just good mon. It can come scarfed pretty easily with U-turn. It can obviously can bulk up, rest, some sort of setup variant to just rely on Rage Fist getting out of control. Has rocks if it really wants to do that. Has taunt to try setup on something like, not setup, but like shut down something like a Trick from Diancie. Obviously gets rocks moves from Moltres. Just an all-round good mon. Zapdos, the CEO of being the most annoying mon of all time. Ogerpon can't break it. Scizor doesn't want to click moves because of its existence. Lopunny also really struggles, and once it megas, obviously pre-mega I could have Limber potentially, but I'm not doing real damage in that form. So Zapdos, the CEO of just being a bulky, annoying mon, spreading paralysis, spreading static, just manually T-waving or discharging, defogging to keep hazards off. Yeah, Zapdos is just, I don't think I need to explain why Zapdos is annoying to people. Blissey, annoying Spadef Demon. To my team specifically, not that great, I don't think. Primarina can come with Psyshock if it wants. Same with Jirachi. Jirachi is obviously mixed. Xurkitree has so much special attack, I think it might especially with something like Tail Glow, where what's Blissey gonna do? T-Wave the electric type? I can set up on it, so I don't think Blissey is coming into me. And Dynasty, yeah, I don't really have an incredible special attacker he wants to come for. Whimsicott, his only fairy type on the team. Another annoying guy with Encore, Prankster, Prankster, Stun Spore. Prankster, Sub Leech Seed is an annoying set. Moonblast, Grass Move, it's just a little utility guy. But a potential weak point, because it's not an incredible fairy type, and it is this team's only one. Donphan, just reliable ground type. Ice Shard can be very annoying for Garchomp, and it's combined with its physical defense. In general, Ice Spinner is also very annoying for it. And an incredibly annoying one is a Terra Legal Bronzong, though, because this thing can just set up. This can go Trick Room, it can go Meteor Beam, it can go Carmine, it can go Iron Defense. It's just got a lot of different options. Obviously, Rocks, it can come Utility with T-Wave. Try Trick something. Bronzong's just, and with Terra available to it, incredibly annoying. So I think a lot of my prep went into hopefully not losing to Bronzong. Mega Chomp. It's funny because regular Chomp looks better to me because max speed normal Chomp is outspeeds Jirachi. If assuming max speed, of course. So I think Mega Chomp might come purely because normal Chomp looks so good. I think I have a lot of fairies, I have a lot of ice moves, I have some priority. Mega Chomp doesn't look incredible into me, but just clicking Earthquake into this team is relatively free because Moltres does not come that often. Nihilego, similar deal to Chomp where it's just a really nice B tier. However, Nihilego really struggles with steel types. It doesn't get any coverage for steel types, and I have both Jirachi and Scizor on my team, so I do feel pretty safe. Runerigus, another Terra Captain. I thought this mon might come because initially I thought Wandering Spirit worked the same way as Mummy, where if Mega Lopunny clicked Scrappy, I would lose my ability. And obviously I couldn't hit it then, and it's just a bulky ghost type looking at a Lopunny. However, Wandering Spirit I figured out this week doesn't work like that, and it trades abilities instead of taking over them. So if Lopunny hit Runerigus again the next turn, I would get Scrappy back. So it's not as good, and still very annoying. I'd still need to carry some sort of coverage move, but assuming the best Terra Captain on this team I think is Bronzong. So if Runerigus doesn't Terra, it's still weak to something like Triple Axle or Ice Punch from Lopunny. If it does Terra, I think I get Throw Chop, but in general, if it does Terra, I no longer need Scrappy because it turns into a Steel type or something, and I can just click Close Combat again in order. So yeah, it looks all iffy. It looks alright. It's not the worst one. It would have to be very specific. And Ariados is a Webs Demon. We know what Ariados does. This, for those who don't know, is an incredibly Jester team. Jester loves a goofy goobers and try bringing potential out of them, which is why you see 12 mons on his team, because he's allergic to having like an incredible top tier. Now saying that, he does have Mega Garchomp, which is the same top tier as I have, just with an item clause on it basically. He has Zapdos, he has Ape, so he might have a more top heavy team than me, but he still has his goofy goobers. But that is the matchup. So let me pull up what I brought. You can already see the Kendrick names, and I think GNX dropped around this time, which gives you a time frame of how long ago this was. But here we go. This is my team. Actually, I can do this. So, the team. Start off with Mega Lopunny. Adamant because its speed tier is just so strong this week. I think if Greninja comes out... Adamant... One sec. I know you can't see. Yeah, this is coming as very aggressively with Adamant and this much speed, assuming Greninja will not be max speed, and if it is, it's not going to be max speed invested, it's going to be creeping something else, I hope. And if it does come max speed invested, it's probably Scarfed or something as well, like if it's outspeeding me. So I've gone for a very greedy read here. with Adamant. If I'm going Adamant, I may as well go dual priority, because U-turning, I don't want to click U-turn into the Zapdos team, into the Ape team. So I'd rather, if I'm staying in, just attack. Something I do need to make note of is Fake Out into, is it Vital Spirit? What's the ability Ape has? It has an ability that can block priority. Not priority, flinching. And because I have Overquill, but if Overquill comes into the Ape team, it's probably coming with Poison Point, not Intimidate. So knowing that, he knows that I understand it has a Defiant. So I have to play around, I have to just make note of that when I'm clicking Fake Out into Ape. But yeah, in general, they're strong attacker, revenge killer, double priority, nice. Jirachi has come with Shocker Berry, Draco Meteor, Shadow Ball, Psychic Noise, Calm Mind. In general, I notice once Calm Mind goes up, Jirachi just kills everything and walls a lot of stuff, apart from, specifically, Max Speed Garchomp before Mega Evolving. So that's what the Shocker Berry's there to help against, maybe catch you off guard. I can come in on something Calm Mind as they swap, and once he's scouted that it's Calm Mind and, you know, something not scarfed, basically, he might send in Garchomp, and that's what a Shocker Berry and Draco Meteor's for. Draco Meteor, because I think I literally needed the damage. I couldn't get away with Dazzling Gleam or anything else. It had to be Shadow Ball, Draco Meteor. But in general, offensively looks pretty solid. Can come in on, like, set up on Bronzong or something. It looks pretty solid offensively. Diancie has come, just utility. Heal Bell to prevent any if Lopunny or Scizor or anybody gets staticked by Zapdos, basically. Rocks, Mystical Fire, Moonblast, Citrus, just to stick around a little longer. Max HP, max defense for a little more help against the Garchomp, and for Ape. But the Garchomp specifically looked very strong into me. I was actually worried that if it gets a scale shot off, I'd be a little weak to it. But so that's why this is this. Scizor has come. Life Orb, Sword Dance, Bullet Punch, Roost Knock. Oh. Because it just, once Zapdos falls, it looked incredible, actually. Assuming Bronzong is also being dealt with or isn't, insanely bulky, is more sort of focusing on utility and not an Iron Defense Wincon. This just looked incredible for his top throw, for Greninja, for freining out Whimsicott every time, for priority for Ape, priority for Nihilego. It just looked... Sizzle's always just a good Wincon. It's just that I love this guy, I love this man. Garchomp has come offensive because list for Garchomp switching, Zapdos. Alright, we found it. However, he has to put, especially if a Sword Dance is up, he has to fear the Stone Edge or something, and with a Sword Dance up, Scale Shot is an incredibly strong move. And Zapdos is not outspeeding me, it's not coming Scarf, so that's what this is. This is just offensive. Finally. Playoffs, I had to up the tempo a little bit, and Scarf Prim, because, again, scared of Chomp. Wanted something fast, but also the coverage in general. Did I bring... No, I really didn't expect for Lacey to come, so I didn't bring Psyshock. I'm not even sure if it gets Psyshock, I'm gonna be real. But in general, Moonblast victim, victim of my team. Ice Beam victim, not coming. Frailmon and Ice Beam victim. Literally any special move but Water victim. A lot of Primarina victims, however they are on average faster. So that's why it's Scarf with this moveset, because I will simply get the turns right, Smile. And it looks very nice for revenging, especially if Zapdos is still alive and I don't want to send in Scizor to revenge something, I can send in Primarina again instead. So, let's look at how the game went. I can't remember how I usually... Let's see. I think I usually have chat. I usually do have chat, don't I? Alright, at least a bit. Sorry. Alright, you know what? This is good enough. So, I lead Diancie, just get my rocks up early, start scouting stuff. Did I pull the trigger on Terra? I didn't. Did I get Ined? I'm not sure. But Ape leading kind of indicates to me it's potentially a rock set, potentially a scarf set where he wanted to lead it, scarf U-turn out or something. And it's swapping. Maybe not actually, because it would have just U-turned on Diancie, but hard swapping there, very interesting. Not sure what it meant, but it meant I got my rocks up for free. Whimsicott comes in. I send in, you know, the big boss, Scizor. Knockoff on. I was expecting Zapdos to come in because Whimsicott's not staying in, not eating a bullet punch. Very nice to get the boots off of this thing. I did risk static. I did eat some chip and the what's it called, but getting boots off of Zapdos makes it very easier later. Why didn't I go into Jirachi or Diancie here? We will never know. I go Garchomp instead. And eat. That is defensive Zapdos. I eat so much damage. However, turn 5, you know what I had to do. You know I had to make some boss plays. Staying in on the Zapdos, which is threatening to kill me. I don't threaten to kill it back. Even like Stone Edge doesn't kill it here. But Jester acknowledging how important Zapdos is kind of to his team for keeping Lopunny in check, keeping Scizor in check. He could have swapped into Bronzong, which, you know, is immune to one of my stabs and resists the other stab. Could have swapped into... Yeah, mainly Bronzong is the other one. I'll just stayed in, which is also something I was considering. However, I made the boss call that Whimsicott would be coming in. Fucking hard poison jabbed on what the potential Bronzong could be and called the Whimsicott to switch. Jesus Christ, I was playing like a crackhead. That was insane. But that was insane. Ape coming on Garchomp kind of reveals its Scarf. Without U-turn, I'm guessing, because it swapped turn 1. But I just went Prim. Without any Rage Fist up, without any boosts or anything. Primarina can eat that pretty comfortably. Comes in, I click U-turn on the... Not U-turn, flip turn on the incoming Bronzong. Pretty obvious switch there. Did risk giving it a Rage Fist, but... Apes, it's not staying in there. It's not doing six. It's not staying in there. And if it did stay in, I thought it was scarfed, so I expected swap. But if it did stay in, that would have revealed to me that it was probably, you know, poison jabbing or something that turn, and I would have gone Scizor or something on that. Because I'm scarf and would have outsped if it wasn't scarf, but it swapped. I go Jirachi under Bronzong as expected. Now. It tricks me in an Iron Ball. I'm not sure. Nah, I can't show it. But yeah, I have an Iron Ball now. And he revealed the fact that I'm Shocker, so Garchomp is now opening me up. But yeah, we'll talk about that Iron Ball later. But just acknowledge the fact that I have an Iron Ball now. Oh. But I just start attacking. I got my Calm Mind. I get Heavy Slammed. The second Iron Ball trick was revealed, I was a lot less scared of it because it struggles to fit, you know, Calm Mind, Iron Defense. It struggles to be some sort of setup sweeper and also have trick on it. So that was very nice for me. Got the kill on the Bronzong. That was a big relief for me. And Garchomp just has to take the kill here. Yeah, accordingly, doesn't mega. He needs the speed. That reveals basically to me it's max speed. And I do something insane here. I go Garchomp. I don't know why. My Primarina is faster. I'm scarfed. Look at the Moonblast switch-ins. There isn't a single one. Dies to maybe 2, which I'm scarfed and now without speed. I don't know why I didn't just go Primarina here and basically win the game. I instead went for a speed tie and gave Jester an out where if he took the speed tie, landed Scale Shot and got like enough hits to kill me, because obviously he can't be loaded dice because he's mega. He probably just maybe doesn't win, but is now faster than Scarf Prim, and in general is just problematic. I have a lot of priority left. I still have a full HP Diancie. It's just a risk I didn't need to take. But thankfully for me, he swaps. actually just bailed out, it seems. I land my scale shot. Another risk I was taking. What if I just like missed my scale shot? Either way. Ape comes in. Even at max speed, Ape is now slower than my max speed Garchomp, so I just take the kill there. I get my chip on this. Look how bulky this Zapdos is. This Zapdos could have stayed in so comfortably earlier and just hurricaned again and hit my Garchomp. But I guess he didn't want to, well, understandably didn't want to play around with Hurricane's accuracy and whatnot. But he did lose his Whimsicott for it. But there we go, clicking Hurricane, getting the kill. My Primarina comes in, reveals it's Scarfed, clicks a Moonblast. Greninja comes in. With it coming in there, I'm playing around something like Scarf. I think I also maybe just don't outspeed it with Scarf Prim. Now that I think about it, I don't think Scarf Primarina is faster than this specifically at max speed. It taking Rock's Chip being Protean reveals to me it's probably either Scarfed or Specs. It's some sort of choice item. So, so expecting it to be choice item, I tried to read Garchomp swapping out here. Garchomp coming in here, so I made a double to Primarina just to catch the Garchomp and click Moonblast or Ice Beam, whatever. However, you'll notice that my min speed Scizor swapped first, and that is because Greninja didn't swap and just clicked Sludge Wave, and Jester was just willing for me to take some chip from Life Orb. He just basically didn't expect me to be Sword Stance and was willing to sack the Greninja to try go Garchomp and just like Scale Shot or just EQ or something. But that's not what happened. I swapped into the Fairy type on the Sludge Wave, died. So now I go back into Scizor, and I get my Sword Stance. Like I could have Sword Stance so easily in front of it. I could have done this earlier and just, you know, taken my chip. But that's not what happened. I could have killed that. I could have got 2 Sword Dances in if Swords Dances off if I stayed in and he clicked Sludge Wave again. But here we are. I just take my Fake out. And now what I assume is either Specs or Scarf. Stay in. I just Quick Attack just to get my chip. But because I'm adamant, 2 Quick Attacks do end up. I think he's maybe a roll, but it was like incredibly in my favor. Or maybe not even a roll, but 2 Quick Attacks get the job done. And that is my win. I won there. I did make some very big throw plays by going into Garchomp, and thankfully Jester swapped. And then this insane double. It makes sense. It does make sense. But it just was totally unnecessary. Because I could have just stayed in and just Sword Stance. But, whatever. I won. So that means I go to semi-finals of this playoffs. And let's see what the team Jester ended up bringing. What we can already see is that I'm very happy I killed the Whimsicott because it would have been a 9. And the Greninja was in fact Choice Specs. Alright, here we go. So, what you will notice is a few things. Yeah, Whimsicott, Stun Spore, On-Call, Prankster, Leech Seed, D-Gleam would have just been an annoying guy if it stayed around. Very glad it didn't. Greninja was just Specs, 4 attacks, Protean, max speed. So I'm very lucky again with my Lopunny because he did just go max speed and didn't go for any speed tiers or anything. So my very greedy Lopunny almost would have been me in the ass if I wasn't, you know, also double priority and it had taken some rounds of rocks and whatnot. I wasn't losing that endgame anyways. I still had Terra on Diancie, but you know, it's interesting to know that he didn't speed creep anything. Garchomp, as I expected, jolly max speed. So I did just go for a end scale shot. So I did just go for a speed tie. You know, almost give him an out for it, but thankfully he didn't take it. Zapdos, default Zapdos set, max HP, max defense, makes a lot of sense into my team for low Kinesis or etc. Now, Ape was Scarfed and was U-turn, so I guess he just didn't U-turn turn 1 to not reveal the fact it's... Because basically if you see Scarf on Ape, you usually assume it's U-turn because otherwise it wants to... If it's packing U-turn, it's Scarf because otherwise it's set up and, you know, trying to play for Rage Fist, or getting rocks up or taunting or something. It's only U-turn on Scarf, basically. This is Draft League, of course. It can be anything it wants to be, but usually you see no Rock Slide on this either. Instead, Final Gambit, which would have deleted Diancie turn 1. I would have deleted basically anything on my team. So, again, I'm pretty thankful this got dealt with by just swapping in on Garchomp and dying. And Bronzong, Heat Proof, Terra Electric, Trick Iron Ball. So this was dealing with Moltres, because he believed Moltres was a very big problem into him. Which, into this specific team, I don't know if I agree with. Obviously, it does pressure Ape. Garchomp couldn't slot on a rock move, I'm guessing. Greninja outspeed. Could be Prop Scarf, maybe. Could be Prop... I don't know. I don't know if it warranted an entire thing. But, in general, this was cooking. Terra Electric Blast as well. This was cooking. If Moltres did come, I would have fallen for this. I would have clicked Flamethrower with the swiftness and got fucking tricked them and Terra Blasted. But that meant that at one point in the game, this was Sugar Berry and it was heat proof. So it had half a Levitate and it had 2 abilities. It had 1.5 abilities. But in general, that was the team, that was the game, that was the matchup. Thank you guys for watching. I am now in semi-finals of playoffs, so that is at least one more week, maybe 2, of the DDL, which was ages ago now. As you see, the nicknames were around GNX because that's about when it came out, so it kind of gives you a time frame of how long this has been in the waiting. Sorry about that. Hopefully I'll get the last week or 2 done soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.